I don't know who that caller is, but we'll go ahead and guess. Is your name Bullshot?
Me?
Yeah.
My name is Steven.
Steven, I'm throwing this thing out. It doesn't work.
It's still off.
This is crap. Anyway, you had a question for us.
Yeah, I'm just listening to you guys talk, and if I would imagine that you guys basically believe in what's commonly known as the Big Bang Theory. So my question to you would be, how can an explosion or the Big Bang cause something to start breathing?
It didn't.
Cause life to just form?
It
how
didn't.
can chemicals explode or matter explode into a living, breathing life?
It didn't.
So where did life come from?
What you're actually talking about, there's three different aspects of this, and people seem to confuse them. There's Big Bang cosmology, which may or may not be accurate. We don't know. Nobody was there. We have good math that comes up to that theory and supports it, but it's in the past. Nobody knows, and we don't have enough information. But there's good theories. Then there's something called abiogenesis, which is life from non-life. And depending on the particular conditions, some people might say that has been proven possible to occur, but it may not have been, because we don't have an accurate model of everything with regard to the past. And then there's evolution, which is what happens to life after it begins. The website up on your screen there, talkorigins.org, is a great resource for all of this. We're not scientists. I don't know that I could probably give some reasonable explanations about Big Bang, abiogenesis, and evolution, but I don't want to butcher them. And in the end, even if you found out tomorrow that we're completely wrong about the Big Bang and completely wrong about abiogenesis and completely wrong about evolution, all that means is that those theories are wrong. It doesn't prove any other theory correct. And as we were talking about with the previous caller, when we're trying to develop a worldview, when we're trying to distinguish the real from the unreal, science is continually proven to be the best method for that. And the current scientific explanation with regard to abiogenesis, there's also other theories out there, directed panspermia and other stuff. The biggest answer is, I don't know, and neither does anybody else.
So essentially you hold faith.
Sorry?
Essentially, you hold faith in something that you don't know and that you can't prove.
No, you didn't hear what I just said. I said, I don't know what the answer is, and neither does anybody else.
Well, it seems that you would essentially have to believe that life would...
Hang on. There's a difference between knowledge and belief. I don't necessarily know something, but I can believe it to be true. And my belief is based on the evidence. And right now, the bulk of evidence points in a specific direction, and that direction is not creationism. There's no evidence for creationism.
Again, you're saying that you can't explain or can't prove how life was created from non-life. It seems to me that you basically have to hold faith in something that science will never be able to prove.
No, if you want to put it in that term, and that's what's comfortable for you, then fine. But it's not faith. Faith is belief in something without sufficient evidence, or belief in something in the face of evidence to the contrary. I don't have faith. I don't have faith in anything. I have a reasonable expectation based on previous events, based on scientific explanation, evidence, and reasoned argument. That's not faith in the sense that most people would use it.
So what scientific evidence is there that life became from non-life?
Know that at some point life came from non-life.
Yes.
That has to be, whether you're a creationist or an evolutionist, that happened. Unless, I guess, you buy into this idea that we always existed and that there's this infinite regress. But, let's avoid that. Accepting that, now you can say, okay, let's see if we can find out why. Well, maybe we can, maybe we can't. All of the scientific evidence that's available points to one type of thing, and that is, the natural explanation. Now, whether or not theories about abiogenesis are exactly accurate to what did happen is completely irrelevant. If there's a competing theory, it's not like creationism wins by default. Yeah. If evolutionary theory doesn't fully explain something or doesn't accurately explain something, that just means we've got more work to do. But it doesn't mean that what we know or what we believe so far is wrong, and it certainly doesn't mean that creationism is true and accurate. You actually have to provide evidence to support your theory or your hypothesis about creationism. It's not an either or. If we can only prove evolution wrong, all of a sudden we can put prayer back in school. No, you can't, because it's still religion and it's still unproven. Science is the only thing that disproves science, and it does it all the time. I watch creationists like Kent Hovind talk about the Piltdown man and how this was a hoax, and they found one tooth, and the guy looked at it and thought that it was a combination between a man and a chimp, and they built 500 doctoral dissertations on it, and blah 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 blah. It's absurd. In the case of Piltdown man, for example, what was it that finally showed that it was a hoax? Science.
Or science.
Religious
did not come along and say that's wrong.
In the entire
At least not
history,
intelligently.
The entire recorded history, when science and religion have come to competing contrary answers about something, religion's been proven wrong, or science has demonstrated itself to be right every single time. Religion's never said, you know what, we were right and science was wrong. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and I realize that there are people out there who are going to say, of course it doesn't happen, you numbskull. I realize that there's a built-in bias there, and that science is the only thing that could possibly prove science wrong. The thing is that all this secret hidden wisdom from thousands of years ago that's tucked away on tablets and slates that tell us how things really are, they're really wrong. And we keep showing it. The gaps that they try to stick God into keep getting smaller every day, every second. But
yeah, I'm thinking
Christianity is a thinking man's religion.
Well, that's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah. I think the people who are saying that don't have a thought in their head, most of the time.
Well, so
we would agree.